Welcome to Broadneck High School Baseball and our series, The Bruin Way. Today, Coach Neil Herrick talks about tee work, soft toss, and front toss.
Angles. But here's why it's important for a little kid. What you do is you take this tee and you put it 4 feet away from the net. You put it about, well, for little guys it would be lower, but for my guys it's 2 foot 7 inches off the ground, which is to the bottom of my palm, my fist. But for your guys it would be lower, right? I put a target on the net that's 3 foot 4 inches off the ground. That creates a 6% down angle, which is what the fastball looks like for our guys. That's the down angle that fastball comes in at. You want them to train at actually getting their bat on plane with the pitch that's coming in like that, matching that plane, right, going through it, hitting that target that you put on the net. So instead of your little guys just walking up on tee and just swinging and hitting this big net, you're telling them, hit that, okay? Then you can walk away and watch the fun begin, because they're little athletes, right? I mean, they can do it. If they swing and they hit the ball over here and they miss that, they're going to make an adjustment on their own without you having to tell them anything. And they're going to start getting closer and closer, hopefully, right? But at least they have a goal in mind, to try to hit that. If they do, then their mechanics start to align perfectly, okay, for this particular setup. We call this middle tee. This tee is in the middle of the strike zone, in the middle of the plate, and we're hitting the ball back through the middle, right? So here's the when you're doing tee, where the tee is placed is probably the most important thing. If it's not placed in the right place, you're creating training scars on your kids, because it could create all kinds of problems in their mechanics if you practice it and it's not in the right place. So middle tee. Remember I talked about setup and hitting position. When the tee's in the middle and you're trying to drive the ball back up through the middle, and you land in your hitting position, that tee should be even with that front foot, or slightly ahead of it, but pretty close to even. Does that make sense? For middle tee. That allows them to get here and get extended through the ball, okay? So this is one drill that we do, middle tee with the piece of tape or target, and all you have to do, instead of knowing all those measurements, is just make sure that that thing is slightly higher than the top of this. You don't want to teach them to actually swing down on a pitch. Although, you remember I told you sometimes you got to exaggerate? Because I've heard guys say, Coach, you told me in a clinic never to swing down, but you just told your number 4 hitter to swing down and hit a ground ball. Well, you know why? Because he's going like this, right? So you over exaggerate and get him to try to hit it down, and guess what? Line drives. So, but when you train, you want to train for, a slight elevation, getting on plane. So when we work outside, we actually will turn this, and he has the same setup as if that was the plate in the game. Difference now is when you're working outside tee, when you land, the tee's where?
Towards the back foot?
Inside the back foot. I'm sorry, inside the front foot. Yes, inside. But still out front, but inside, right? So now he's hitting the ball here, this way, into the net. So outside tee, slightly behind, middle tee, right on it, or slightly ahead. Middle tee. Inside tee, the one you're not going to practice that much, is out front, right? Because they got to get to here and get the barrel to the ball here, and then hit it. And obviously they're going to pull this, and you want them to. Not a lot, right? You don't want them to pull it here. You want them to pull it over top of the shortstop's head. And then the last thing I'll tell you about is soft toss. When you guys do soft toss, never do it from the side. You actually want to try to get out front a little tiny bit. And when you do it, have the guy put the ball up in the air like this, go down, and then back up. And that allows your hitter to load. He goes down, he loads, gives him time to get the foot down. Foot should be down here. And then when you flip it up, he's in a good hitting position, right? And as a coach, what I do is I'll go, whoop, stop, and make sure their foot's down, and then I'll flip it, right? To get them used to swinging from that solid base, okay? So, soft toss, up in the air, slow, boom, okay? Once in a while, go, boop, and just check them, make sure they're down. The last thing I'll tell you is this is a matter of preference. When you do front toss, like you're not too far away from them, we go back 21 feet. When we do our front toss, we sit on a bucket. We don't stand up. If we did at that distance, we're creating a training scar, right? Because the only pitch that does this is a curveball. You know, it comes in like that kind of angle. So we're training for fastballs. We sit on a bucket, release the ball about 4 foot 4 inches off the ground, comes in about 6% down angle, and they're training the same exact plane swing path as they did on the tee, right? Some guys do underhand. No, we don't do that. In order to get 6% down angle underhanded, it's got to come up and then back down. And there's no pitcher in baseball that throws that pitch, right? Nobody. No, it might come from up here down, but never down here. Okay, so we 21 feet away, sit on a bucket, just throw it overhand and let him swing away. Now once you move back into batting practice distance, then you can stand up, you know. But these guys are little guys, so you know it's a little bit less intimidating. When he sits on a bucket, you know, nice little 35 mile an hour zip for his kids, and they square the ball up really well. So sit on a bucket and just toss it overhand to them. Any questions?
Thanks, Coach, and thanks to each of you for your interest in doing things the Bruin way.